So I'll just ask you a few questions.
I just have to hit got it.
Okay. Okay, good. So Lynne, what inspired you to start practicing yoga, and how has your practice evolved since then?
Okay, I think aging was the biggest inspiration when we moved here. Hard to believe, 12 years ago, almost 12 years ago. It suddenly occurred to me, I bet there's yoga classes here. And stumbling into, I actually phoned both close senior centers nearby, because I thought, well, maybe they'll have something. And the one at Qualicum Beach was the one that best suited me, the times. And I said, well, now I'm not yet 65. Is that okay? I'm only 59. And they said, there's no age limit. You could be 16, which is interesting because of the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
You'll learn something every day. And then, ta-da, there you were.
And I mean, yeah, I guess you came around here around the same time that I did then, because I think we're about 12 years in as well.
Yeah.
And for sure, the practice, the heart of it hasn't changed a lot, but could you speak to how your practice has evolved from when you first started on the mat to today?
Yes, I think yes. First of all, I had very, very, very little yoga background. I had a heavy duty dance background, as you know, but not yoga. I had taken a couple of yoga classes. I had done 2 Kundalini yoga classes and thought, this isn't for me. I was visiting a friend in LA and went to the Malibu yoga class. I was like, oh, yikes, not a chance. But then what I really loved was the lack. It's not a lack of expectations, but a lack of what the client, the person taking the class, considers an expectation of themselves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right? Like, and because I know I was immediately like, and I remember you coming over at one point and having me relax my back, and it felt like, oh, no, I can't do that. Oh. And if to me, and you said to me, does it feel like you're humped over? And I said, yes. And you said to the class, is she humped over? And they all went, no. And,
I remember that.
Odd. Yeah.
I
was in the back row. My excuse being I'm tall, so I don't want to block anybody. But I can't say that it's not that it exceeded my expectations, but it took my expectations on a sharp right curve,
Mm-hmm.
down a different highway.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very glad that highway exists.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, how has yoga helped you improve your physical health, such as flexibility or strength or balance?
Right. And again, as you know, when we moved here, I had been told by 2 surgeons, I went for 2 opinions, that I needed double knee replacements. And if I could just, like I just turned 60. Yes, I just turned 60 the year we moved here. We moved here in November 2011. And they both said, if you can hold on having them done, are you able to survive? And I said, yeah, I mean, it hurts, but yes, I can. They said, because knee replacements don't last forever. They always have to be done again. And I said, so if I can wait long enough, maybe I'll be dead before they have to be done again. And they both went, yes.
What a mentality.
That was charming. So I just thought, so I warned you, and I could not, there's no way I could do a child's pose, bending my knees. I had to just go from tabletop just to lowering my elbows. Mm-hmm. And now I can go into, if I want to, a really tight knee. There's still things I can't do, like squats, but the pain in my knees is like almost gone. almost.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's a miracle, or as my previous minister would say, it's a mackerel. I know, he was funny. But it is a bit of a miracle.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I was at a really bad point where I needed help to get up out of a chair. You know, if I didn't have arms, it hurt my knees too much. And now it's like, don't even think about it.
Wow, that is quite exceptional. I mean, it's 10 or 12 years later since your doctors told you that, and you still haven't had surgery and you have less pain.
And it's not on my horizon.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we should get a kickback from the government.
I know. I know.
We just saved them like how many thousands of dollars, and we did the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. How about mental health? Do you think yoga has helped you reduce stress or anxiety?
I don't. I'm not aware of a whole lot of stress in my life. I mean, we're very blessed with, the jobs that my husband and I had, and that I'm now still doing little bits of what I used to do. And uh, but I do feel well, and I've always been kind of calm, but maybe just calmer, just yup-de-yup-de-o.
Mhm.
Maybe part of that just is aging. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it just, I really enjoyed Shavasana, and just and what's interesting to me, and this might be covered in another question, but is when I first started doing it and would go into Shavasana, I would start to cry. I would always have tears, like not sobbing, but
Yeah.
tears would come. And as I think, my youngest sister died in 2009, and I just felt her overwhelmingly with me, and the tears would just come
Wow.
every Shavasana. Now they don't.
That's
I
interesting.
feel her, but it's more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that through our yoga practice, it's very common if you do this for long enough that at some point you do have an experience where your emotions surface. It's like we stir something or we get in touch with something that otherwise we wouldn't notice. And then, yeah, I see that often, and I've experienced it myself too, where there's enough safety or connection that some kind of letting go can happen.
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm,
Or you can tap into a profound sadness
mhm.
that you just keep hiding
Yeah,
or not admitting to.
exactly. Yeah, that's what Shelley and I were talking about in our conversation yesterday, was like yoga's not always about feeling pleasant or
Mm,
uncovering bliss, you know.
mm, mm.
Sometimes it's very much about getting in touch with, the gooey, icky stuff that's held inside, the difficult, painful stuff. So, and I really appreciated that honesty, because that is definitely part of the process.
Yeah.
But when we get in touch with it, I think, and acknowledge it, then that's actually a gift, even though it's uncomfortable while we're processing it. But at least we get to process it. And then at the end, it's released.
I agree. And it
Yeah.
is a gift. It is a gift for sure.
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, this wasn't one of our written questions, but do you think this work takes courage on that note?
Um, that's interesting. I think I don't know if I would say courage, but I think well, I guess it is a willingness
Yeah.
to. There's a great song from when I was a hippie, and she came to the edge and she stepped and she flew.
Mhm.
And that's all. I've always remembered that from the Perth County Conspiracy in 1974. No, sorry, 1971. And I just always, so it is courage, I guess, but it's also being willing to just give it a try.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps when you said that. Can you share a story about a time when you felt a deep sense of peace or connection during your yoga practice?
I think that's sort of what I was thinking of. That's the thing about just
Mhm.
that tapping into that, even though it was sad,
Mhm.
but still tapping into it was very peaceful.
Yeah. And maybe at first it was a bit emotional or overwhelming or intense, but as I heard you say, it's kind of like it allowed you to get to the place where you could feel her presence and it be okay. It wasn't physical, but maybe just on a different plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty special. Can you share a story about a time when you were able to apply the principles of yoga off the mat in everyday life?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Oh, lots. Well, just the whole, why are my glutes tight as I'm standing in line at the grocery store? Just relaxing. And I remember I was standing in line at one of the grocery stores, and the woman behind me just started chatting to me, small town, and we were chatting, and she was saying, that she had just had her yoga. And I said, oh, I just finished my yoga class and just came out. I said, I'm still wearing my tights. Yeah. And then she went, look at this, and went into tree pose like a rock. And I said, oh, and of course, then every bone in my body is screaming, oh my God, please relax, please relax. But she went into a really heavy duty tree pose and stayed there. And I said, oh, that's good. Wow, good for you. Can I help you out of that? But it was, and I so wanted to just go, honey. And also with friends who are taking yoga who, just do things. I can't be Miss Bossy Pants. I don't know what I'm doing really. I just know what works for me. But I can see now, yes, I do that too. And I need to let that go. And, yeah, just being more, just definitely being more aware of, why am I clenching? Why are my shoulders up here? Breathing, relaxing, what we should all be doing. And it just helps to have that reminder Monday
Yeah.
through
But it does make us more conscious of when we're doing it. And we also do see it in other people, right? And I mean,
Friday.
we're all kind of guilty of that kind of, pushing ourselves or striving or ambition or hurry. I mean, it's in part ingrained in our culture. But when we start to see what happens when even if we just back off a little or we slow down a little, this, it's not that we're not doing anything, we're still doing everything, but just with so much more ease or grace or presence. And I agree. I mean, yeah, I catch it in myself and then I can see it in others.
Mm-hmm.
And you just
And
want to help them, right? Like, I mean, you just want to say, you don't have to
yeah,
do that.
you can just relax a little bit, pull your foot back a bit more, and it might be, but I don't feel like I'm up. I don't know. I'm not. I am Miss Bossy Pants, but I shouldn't be. Yeah, it's definitely. I absolutely am aware of it all the time now in my life. The
Yeah.
way I sit, the way I slouch, the way I, it's just everything.
Yeah. It makes us more conscious overall.
Mm, mm.
How about, that's not another one. Um, how has yoga helped you find greater balance and harmony in your life?
Um, I think I might have already answered that, but well, okay, I know. Just, and I was about to say forcing, but not forcing, allowing myself
Mm-hmm.
every day, except Thursdays when I do Pilates usually, which is canceled this week. Doing this, and because I'm a real bossy pants and lazy pants. I'm super lazy. I would never never do this on my own, which is just like on a Saturday and Sunday. I might do a sun salutation, or, you know, do it just a forward fold, but I don't, and I feel, duh, you know, why not? But I just know that this gives me the freedom to have this every day.
Yeah.
This is the Zoom situation, although it's not the best, but I think it's fabulous for making sure that people just come to the mat, as it were, although I know I don't have a mat, as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't know how to always express to people that, like, it sounds kind of maybe boring, or, you know, now that we're post the necessity to be on Zoom, you know, this whole online yoga community came out of everything shutting down, and it was our only option. So, you know, we came on Zoom. But there is something really magical or special about the consistency, the ease, and that kind of accountability that the Zoom allows for.
Yes.
And I would say, you know, I think it's hard, and maybe it is difficult for people who are new or just joining to kind of catch this wave that we're on. But I think if you stick with it, you see it's like, it's just like what you're saying. It's a way to keep showing up for ourselves. And because it's a group dynamic and it's a monthly membership, it's like, well, I'm going to get there. You know, I'm going to keep showing up. Everybody else is showing up. I'm paying for it. I'm going to get there.
Well, my Scottish Presbyterian background, you've paid for this, you're going to, you're going to go. Yeah, absolutely. And also the 10 minutes of checking in before class, I have made more friends from this class than when I physically was going to classes.
Yeah,
which
it's
great.
interesting.
Yeah. It's really, and then it's funny when you recognize people. Like I ran into Zen and I looked at her and she was looking at me. Lynne, Zen. And I think I saw Heather yesterday in 50s, but I wasn't sure because she was wearing a mask. And I said, Heather, I'm not sure. If she hadn't been wearing a mask and it was Heather, I would have gone up and said hello. But and Shelley, have become buddies, you know.
I know every single person I've interviewed has commented on that, on the connection. And I don't know that, again, there's some like magic fairy dust that got sprinkled in our group, I think, that just allowed for such deep, rich, beautiful connections with everybody. I mean, I don't know if you were on the call the other day when Linda, just at the end, you know, when we were getting ready for final relaxation, she just couldn't help herself. Like, Steve, how you doing?
Yes, I know. I know. And I've been thinking yesterday and today, I was thinking, where's Jim? Is Jim okay?
I know. I know.
You know, what's going on?
I know we really care about each other. I mean, and you wouldn't think that that kind of intimacy or connection could be formed through Zoom, but some which way or another, because I think we've been consistent. It's been years now that, we all really feel like, we care about each other, and it's like palpable, you know?
Yes. I have to, my husband always says, it doesn't start till 9. I know, but I want to be on at 10 to 9.
Exactly. I know. I can't wait. Sometimes I have to stop myself. I go, okay, just, put the clothes in or something. I would open the call early just to see is anybody on there.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Is there anything else you want to add, Lynne? I mean, if somebody's thinking about doing yoga and they're tentative or they're making up excuses, like what would you say?
I think particularly what we're doing here. I mean, yoga in general, it's even in my French class. The doctor says I should do yoga, la médecin, but this particular form of yoga, which I had never experienced before or knew of, and still find sometimes little, I'm not sure what she means. Oh, good. I did it good. What did I do? I don't know. But I can feel that. Hang in there. Like, give it a try. Give it a try. Hang in. I know I have suggested to a couple of people that they try it, and I guess they haven't done it, or they did one and said no thanks. But it's rewarding. It will pay you back tenfold in the your body awareness and in your inner happiness, I think. That's a bit cliched, but it just is. I mean, I couldn't. You better not stop.
I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop.
And I love going to the. I've only been to 2, but I'm going to. Shelley and I are going to another one soon. The
Great.
small class,
Yeah.
in person, which does give definitely a different dynamic.
Yeah, for 2 different reasons. I think they're both good. And I do hope, that, I mean, my hope for everybody who I meet is that they develop a practice or the capacity to do a practice. And so some freedom to practice with or without me. And then also enough trust in that deepening, that ever deepening awareness that you touch base in a class, whether it's online or in person or in retreat.
Yeah.
At least once in a while, because I mean, that's what I do with my teacher too, right? I don't see her every day, but I see her every year. And if I could, I'd see her, every week.
Oh, sure. Well, and also being able to do this wherever you are. So you're going to Paris, big deal,
Sign
8
on.
hours later, you can sign in 9 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really fabulous.
Yeah. Again, just the consistency, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to hit the stop